Grievous went over to his men. Men, I have something to tell you before we do our objective. I got something to tell you, man. I stood up on the podium. This is for you Mandalorians. Mandalorian kin, today our boots touch the soil of Palaven, the very heartbeat of Turian dominance. But let it be etched in the stars that we do not tread lightly. We come as a roaring tempest, a force of unbridled passion and ruthless determination. Turians, with their disciplined phalanxes and rigid structures, believe this land is impervious to chaos. Oh, how wrong they are. Today, we bring not just a clash of arms, but the symphony of our indomitable spirits. This is not a battle, it is a declaration, a passionate proclamation that the Death Watch, the true Mandalorians, have arrived. Feel the pulse of your Beskar-clad chest, Mandalorians, for it beats in harmony with the fervor that courses through our veins. Our armor is not just a barrier, it is a testament to the burning passion that fuels our conquest. Today, we unleash that passion upon Palaven like a wildfire that knows no restraints. Turians may pride themselves on order, but we, my brethren, we embrace the chaotic dance of the warrior. In the face of their regimented legions, we offer the unrestrained passion that only true Mandalorians can embody. For Mandalore. For the Death Watch. Let the cry of no mercy resonate with the fervent beating of our hearts. Charge, my warriors, let the flames of passion consume Palaven, and let the galaxy bear witness to the untamed, unyielding might of the true Mandalorian way. Grievous went over to Bo. So why are we here anyways, she asked seriously. If we help the Empire here, then Mandalore will be ours. Grievous replied. Are we sure we can trust them? Bo-Katan said suspiciously. Yes, I am sure. Vader seems not to be a person that goes back on his word. While we here, you might as well try to find some good recruits from the native population when this is done. This could be useful for us. Grievous said. Are you seriously letting outsiders in our ranks? Bo-Katan said, clearly not happy with this development. We need more recruits if we're going to take over Mandalore the way we want to, and after all, in this planet will be a lot of recruits we can take here. If you find any orphan children, bring them back with us. They will fill our ranks, and we can instill our Mandalorian values into them. Is that understood? Said Grievous. Understood, reluctantly said Bo-Katan. Grievous started talking. It comes. All forces in the main spearhead with me. I want the shuttles containing the Sky Troopers and the Mandalorians stay in the air. And then I want all the ground assault vehicles like the ATT and the ATST. And with the droids and stormtroopers will be on the ground. Is that understood? He said. That's all the commanders said. Roger. Grievous went towards the transfer ship as he was starting to take off. Darth Maul. Pov, how is it going up in orbit? Admiral Trench said Maul. Admiral Trench. Pov. It seems that the enemy force is weakening, but they still have a significant number advantage over us. In time we will defeat them, but we will lose a few ships in the process that may not be worth the cost, Admiral Trench said. Keep your current position. We're still relying you up there, but don't fail us, said Maul. I will not fail. I think I actually have an idea to minimize our losses, said Admiral Trench. That moon of theirs is a perfect place to put some of our walkers there, and with our AA batteries that have in storage, we can do quite a lot of damage if you get control of that moon, said Admiral Trench. I will let attack on their moon. Who do you have in mind for the job? Said Maul. I managed to acquire an ally from a distant planet in our galaxy, in exchange of helping his homeworld against their enemies. They sent their finest general, said Admiral Trench. We have made a few improvements on him. We have given him a new exoskeleton suit with the new Imperial combat simulated computer in his brain. He can copy pretty much any fighting form and analyze them, and he has a keen mind in battle strategies. As Admiral Trench stood up and stepped aside, as a large mechanical figure stepped into view of the hollow projector, he started to cough as he walked forward, the sounds of his suit echoing across the room as he stepped into view. A towering and menacing figure, this being is a fearsome cyborg warrior. Multiple robotic limbs extend from his mechanical torso, each terminating in a deadly weapon. His face, resembling an insectoid skull, holds a pair of piercing, yellow eyes that convey a sense of ruthlessness. Often draped in a flowing cape, he cuts an imposing and regal silhouette. You must be Darth Maul. It's an honor to meet you, said towering figure. And who might you be? Said Maul. Oh, sorry for being straight to the point without introducing myself. You can call me Grievous, said the general. I will lead attack on their moon, and after I defeat these birds, I will aid you in your battle on the planet, said Grievous. I hope you do, said Maul. As we have our objective, let's get to business, said Maul as he cut off communication. Admiral Trench went towards him. I will provide you with that and any troops you would possibly need. I want the droids and I want the Sky Troopers along with any heavy artillery weapons. You have vehicles, it is yours to take, said Admiral Trench. Very well done. As you walked towards the hangar to guide his men towards the moon. Scene break. The counselors was waiting patiently in their cells for the negotiations. The first time we get the chance to escape, get reinforcements, we will take that chance, said the Turian counselor. Are you insane? Said the blue-skinned female counselor. We have just lost the Citadel, and potentially our homeworlds are under threat, and your main priorities are trying to make the situation worse for us, said the Tivos. We can't negotiate with these primitives. Don't you see we just get a free reinforcements back here, we can defeat them, and then we can take their technology because it seems to be advanced, said the Turian counselor. Let's say we do defeat them, let's say we take it back to Citadel, and that's even say we steal some of their technology. It will take years for us to synthesize and harness the technology for our own, and by that time they could probably send reinforcements to retake the Citadel anyways, so what's the point of this, said Tivos. You sorry always hold us back, said Spiritus. What's that supposed to mean, she said angrily. You know exactly what I mean, your species always been a parasite. In order for you to evolve you need another species to do stuff for you. The only thing you can bring in return is your great diplomacy. When have your diplomacy ever gone right with us, the Ratchety, the Krogans, the Jet? As Tivos was about to retort. Enough, said Valorn, the Solarian counselor. I am tired of both of you bickering. Don't you see the only reason why we're in this mess the first place is because your hierarchy decided to attack the humans? To satisfy yours ego, and what has this done for us? They say that Shanxi was under their control, and with this unknown entity aiding them, we don't know what we have unleashed on the galaxy, and you Tivos, you decided to ignore this problem, because she thought it wasn't going to be a big deal. You thought the Turians was going to deal with it, and you didn't have to do anything to solve this situation. Because of your ignorance brought this on the Citadel. If you put your foot down you could have broke peace with the humans, but instead you let this all happen, and I am no better. I allowed this to happen as well. I was complacent, and I was waiting way too long to calculate the best possible scenarios to proceed. What is done, we're not going to bicker, we're not going to argue, and we're definitely not going to try to escape it cause more problems for us. Do you understand, said Valon. As the room was quiet, still not in agreement, realizing they both were at fault. Now then, said Valon, there's still a chance you can possibly negotiate with them, and with a few loopholes and a few half-truths, we can possibly turn the situation into our advantage. We can offer an invitation to the council, and with that it can impose a lot of regulations and restrictions on them, and we can send our specters into their space, and STG can work undisturbed, without any worries of getting captured, and with that we can steal some of their technology for ourselves and implement them. To erase is all we need to do is to play nice. As they all had a devilish grin. And what they didn't know was that their cell was bugged, and a certain Grand Admiral just witnessed their entire conversation. I think it's time for negotiations to begin, said Thrawn with a calm expression on his face. As he stood up, I went towards the prison. Thrawn was walking through the prison complex with his death troopers at his sides. He went past multiple cells, hearing prisoners yelling at them. He simply ignored as he stopped in front of this one cell. Thrawn spoke. You must be Admiral Monk. I read your service records. It seems you were part of the Espionage Intelligence Service for the Council, more specifically the STG, and it says here that you apparently left STG and joined Solarian Navy, where you continued your career. One of your major feats was your victory over the Krogans on Tachanka. I hear Kroger rebellions was quite brutal. Thrawn leaned forward, his piercing red eyes scanning his body for any signs. But I think that was a lie. What was the real reason why you were promoted to Admiral? Because the official story says we're promoted because your feats in Tachanka and in the Krogan rebellions, but there's something missing here. When I looked into your archives, and never stated that you were in the battle, and never stated you even existed. You know what my theory is, that the STG fabricated your ranks, even your career history, and it says it was another admiral serving with you in that battle. It says he disappeared in action on their mysterious circumstances. So when I ask you, is this true, said Thrawn. Admiral Monk stayed silent. Your silence said a lot. The admiral served with you was very sympathetic to the Krogans, and he didn't agree with the genophage, so the STG had him replaced. And they used this battle as their excuse to get rid of him. Then they fabricated your career in the Navy to get his admiral spot, and more importantly get you assigned to the Citadel Defense Fleet, where you had control of the entirety of the Citadel Navy. More importantly, you are in service to the Solarian Union. And when we asked for your confirmation to surrender, you decided to ask the counselors. More importantly, you were waiting for the Solarian counselors' confirmation. He gave you a slight nod that gave this entire thing away. And the reason why they did this, if the counselors ever went against the Solarian Union, you would able to do a coup and seize control of the entire council. As Thrawn leaned back. How do you know this? In good time you'll find out, but for now you would have to wait. As Thrawn walked away, he proceeded to enter a secluded area of the prison. As he went towards the door, he punched in the codes as the door opened. Thrawn entered the room. Greetings, counselor, he said with a polite tone. As Tivos, her mouth was wide open. Is there problem, said Thrawn. You look like an Asari, but you male, she said with disbelief on her face. I can assure you I'm no Asari, Thrawn replied. So she encompassed herself. So I assume this is not a social visit. The Turian counselor said with a little bit of spite. No, I have come here to give you guys a bit of a tour. Follow me, Thrawn said. And one more thing, don't try to do anything stupid, it won't work, and I think you already know that. We will behave, said Tivos with a smile. Alright then, let's proceed, said. They quickly made it outside the prison complex. As Thrawn said, so this is the Presidium Commons. It looks beautiful, said Thrawn. You made the sea? Asked curiously. No, sorry, my species found the Citadel. The only occupants at the time was the keepers. They don't really say anything as long as you don't get in their way. They just make repairs in the station and maintain it, said Tivos. Interesting, I wonder who made this station. At least what you tell me, you didn't make this station. But I don't think anyone with your current technology could make this. Perhaps there was another species before you that made this, said Thrawn. So what's your name, said Tivos, a little bit too excited to get to know him. My name is Midnaroto, or just call me Thrawn. As they went over to the CSEC Academy. I am unaware of any species that resemble yours, but the only one that comes to mind is the Asurs. Well, you can say I'm not quite from here. Some would say me being here defies all logic, said Thrawn cryptically. That's really vague, Spiritus said. I'm concerned about the safety of the galaxy of your government being here. You mean the Empire, Thrawn replied. So then what is this Empire you speak of, said Spiritus. He was barely controlling his rage in his mind. The audacity of this primitive. Proclaiming it some kind of empire. Wait until you join the council, and we see what kind of empire you really are then, thought Spiritus. So you're the humans then, said Tivos. No, we're not the humans, we are just allies. We're actually quite new here, and they were the first one that we stumbled upon. So how long you been here then, said Tivos. A month or two. We have not been here for a long time. So where have you been then, quickly countered Spiritus. In time I'll answer those questions, said Thrawn. So I will presume that it was you that destroyed the 7th fleet then. On Shanxi. Guilty as charged, said Thrawn. We took some prisoners, don't worry, they'll been treated nicely. Spiritus, so we are expecting my people to get returned, said the Turian. Perhaps, but beforehand your homeworld will have to fall first. What, yelled Spiritus, what have you done, said he screamed. Ending the war that you started, said Thrawn. I think our tour is at an end. It's been good seeing you counselors. Especially the Asari one, Tivos, it has been nice talking to you. She was a little bit embarrassed. No, it's fine, she said. Good then. Take both of the counselors back to their cell. Except the Asari one, as the Death Troopers was taking them away. Spiritus yelled, don't you touch her, if you do I kill you, do you understand me? Primitive, as one of the guard knocked him out with a quick karate chop on his neck. Well, if that is done. Is he normally this loud, Thrawn said in a joking manner. Well, he's like that normally, I guess, she said, laughing to herself. Well, if that's the case, I allow you to roam free. After all, I need someone to reassure the people that everything is fine, said Thrawn with a smile. So he handed over Omni Toll so she communicate with him. Thrawn did not give her a holo communicator, because he didn't want them to give technology that they didn't already have, so this was the safest option. I got some paperwork to do, I'll see you later, he said. Tivos was a little bit flustered. Okay then. In Thrawn's mind, giving her a false sense of security and freedom will be a lot easier extracting information from her, and with this we come one step closer to securing our goal. As he closed that thought, he quickly sent word to his agents to keep tabs on her. Scene break. Attention men, the tall cyborg known as General Grievous stood in a hangar. As he spoke to them, if you fail you will suffer the consequences. As the cyborg pointed at the moon of Palaven, we will take this moon from these weaklings. The First Army will assault their main base. I will be leading the assault personally. Second Army will attack the south, taking over their communication system. That will cause confusion and fear to the enemy. The Third Army will attack the north of the moon, and we will cut off their reinforcements and their anti-air guns. We deploy our droids at the west and east side of the moon. They will cause pressure on the enemy flanks. They will slowly link up with the different army groups. Then we complete the encirclement. There will be no retreat or surrender for our enemy. We will annihilate these birds from the face of this moon. Grievous finished as the men knew their jobs as they went towards their shuttles. The cyborg went towards the shuttle as a droid stepped in front of him. Get out of my way, you stupid droid, as Grievous showed the droid away. The general entered the shuttle as it flew towards its drop. The shuttle was approaching the drop point. The pilot, sir, we are sustaining heavy fire. I don't care, power through, we will tear them apart when we land. Sir, we have incoming fighters on transport. Unleash the scraper droids, ordered the cyborg. Understood, sirs. All of the drop ships deployed the droids. Turian Pav Ha, we have these primitives in our sight. Take your shot, man. This will be fun. As the squadron was about to shoot the transport. What hell is that? As a bunch of small metal creatures were flying towards the squadron. What is it? I don't know, I can't shake them. Wait, what? They are chewing through my hull. As one of the Turian fighter exploded. What the hell was that? Wait, what is the pilot window was being chewed through? Wait, what are those little demons? But before he could utter another word, the Turian pilot was flung into outer space. How those fools thought they had us. Haha, sir, we are landing now. Good, the transport door was opened. Charge, men, ordered Grievous. As the Imperial forces were pressing on the attack. Ha never had so much fun as Grievous and impaled a Turian soldier, as he picked up with one of his cybernetic arm, as threw the dead Turian at another Turian. Please don't scream, the Turian soldier, as Grievous jumped on him. Grievous put his foot on the Turian face as he crushed his head. Haha, your screams are like music to my audio receptor. Grievous charged at a group Turians as swiftly swung his lightsaber, decapitating the heads of the Turian. And with another swing he sliced through a mecha. Haha, I'm having so much fun. As an Alliance soldier was choking out a Turian soldier. As the man spoke, "Where's my merchandise?" "Wait, what the Turian, who are you?" said Trevor fucking Industries. "Talk now, you fat fuck, who are you?" "I don't have any merchandise." "Are you serious? You don't remember you were those inbred O'Neill brothers?" As the Turian was struggling to speak, "You seriously don't remember Trevor fucking Phillips?" As the Turian soldier died, as Trevor stood up and started to laugh. "Haha, hey man, another soldier, here's your pills." Finally I was getting more fueled up as the man quickly swallowed the pills. "Hey Trevor, you really need calm down, man. I really don't understand how you can mistake this bird to the O'Neill brothers, man. These fuckers all look the same to me," Trevor replied. "Whatever you say," the soldier said. "Sir, we have broken through the enemy's first defense line," said an Imperial stormtrooper. "Keep up the attack, don't give them a second to rest," said the cyber. Grievous changed into battle, destroying anyone that dared to stand in his way. Grievous blocked a biotic strike that came from his back. Then he quickly spined around and gave a sucker punch, breaking the Turian jaw. Grievous quickly followed up by grabbing the Turian throat and ripped out the Turian's windpipe as he kicked him to the ground. "That's what you deserve, you dumb bird dog." Grievous fought his way through the battlefront until he made his way to the enemy's last line of defense. "Hold men," he ordered as the Imperial soldiers stopped as they had their weapons trained on the Turians. Grievous stepped in front of his men. As the cyborg spoke, "I challenge your commander, one warrior to another. In a duel, no weapons and no tricks." As Grievous climbed out of his suit to show he means business, as the Turians spoke to themselves, as Turian stepped in front of his men. "I accept your challenge, but let's introduce ourselves first. My name is Valkyd. I am the general of the base and butcher of the Krogans," said the Turian with confidence. "Kukuku, very well, I am General Grievous, the killer of your people," the cyborg said with a smirk. "Okay, now that we introduce ourselves, what happens if you or I win?" "Okay, if you win, my men will spare your lives," said Grievous. "Okay, then what happens if you win?" said Valkyd. "Kukuku, then I will kill everyone in this base painfully." "Okay, then let's do this, monster," said Valkyd. "With pleasure, weakling." As they made a circle and fought, Grievous started throwing a flurry of punches. The Turian was blocking every blow. Then Turian grabbed Grievous' arm and did a judo throw. As Grievous hit the ground, the Turian quickly tried to stomp his head in. Grievous rolled out of the way as he quickly got up and threw a roundhouse kick. Valkyd blocked in the nick and let out a grunt. Then Grievous swept his legs as the Turian fell on the ground. Then Grievous quickly followed up with a kick towards his head. Valkyd caught Grievous' leg and twisted it. Grievous let a grunt out as he broke his leg from Valkyd grip and followed up with a punch. Valkyd caught Grievous' fist as he used the momentum and did a judo throw as Grievous hit the ground. As Valkyd used the opportunity to get up, threw a punch towards Grievous' face. Grievous quickly rolled to the side as Grievous kicked Valkyd leg. Grievous got up and punched Valkyd face, breaking his jaw as blood started dripping down Valkyd face. As Grievous jumped on the Turian's face. As Grievous started to punch Valkyd face in. "You primitive hierarchy will live on," said Valkyd. "Hit, I will destroy your people on this moon. Then I will massacre your fleet. Hit, then your hierarchy will fall." As Grievous raised his fist as he delivered the final blow, killing the once proud Turian general, the butcher of Krogans fell limp, as his last words was for the hierarchy. As his eyes closed, Grievous stood up victorious and stared at the Turian. "Execute them all," said Grievous as the stormtrooper was firing at the Turians as they all died. As the sky trooper flew next to Grievous, "This moon has fallen. We have now full occupation. Could now turn the anti-air guns on the enemy fleet and use the walkers to fire upon the fleet." "Yes sir," as the sky trooper relayed the order to the men. As the walkers and AA guns were firing on the enemy fleet. Turian captain: "Pause, sir, we are sustaining heavy enemy fire." "From where?" the captain said. "From the moon," what the captain said. But before he could say anything, the ship blew up. Grievous: "Pov, nothing is better than seeing your enemy's destruction." As multiple Turian warships were destroyed. As the remains of the warships were crashing down towards Palaven, Grievous pulled out his holocommunicator. "It's done, the moon is ours now." Admiral Trench: "Fufufu, very good. I am already seeing the impact. A group of star destroyers have already commenced orbital bombardment over Palaven. I have already sent wave for someone to bring you to planet side." Mandalorian: "Pop." Previously cut a Turian down with his dark saber, as followed up cutting another one down with a swift strike, as he pulled out his pistol and shot a Turian in the head. As the sky trooper sent a barrage of missiles towards an incoming mech, destroying it completely. As it flew away, Previously activated his jetpack and started to get altitude as he was flying towards one of the Turians' defense lines. Previously looked down at the battle. Imperial forces were driving the Turians back as a Walker shot a hail of turbo lasers towards the Turian trench, completely destroying them as the fire spread, causing more chaos to the enemy. Previously started to descend downwards as he hit the ground. The Mandalorian Previously shot another Turian in the head as he led his men towards a nearby enemy checkpoint, with men Previously as the Mandalorians and Sky Trooper in the air. As they were approaching the checkpoint, it was over a bridge connecting it to a major city. Fiery rockets as the Sky Troopers and Mandalorians all fired the rockets, destroying multiple mechs and destroying all of their defenses guns. As the Turians were all scrambling to get their weapons and get ready for a battle, the Mandalorians used their flamethrower to burn the checkpoint down. As Sky Troopers threw smoke grenades, causing more cause to the checkpoint. As Imperial stormtroopers and droids were charging straight into the checkpoint with determination as they were battling the demoralized and distracted Turians, as the Imperial forces were battling the Turians. Grievous landed in the middle of the checkpoint as he cut down a Turian that was trying to put on his helmet, as he quickly dodged out of the way. The Turian that was on some kind of hovercraft. As the Turian jumped down from his hovercraft, his boots hit the ground. As he pressed a few buttons on his Omni tools as the hovercraft flew away somewhere. As the Turian rushed Pre-Vizsla and grabbed his throat as the Turian lifted up Vizsla, tightening his grip on Pre-Vizsla's neck, as the Turian quickly moved towards a nearby cliff. As the Turian ripped Pre-Vizsla's jetpack off. Pre-Vizsla was struggling to break free from the Turian's grasp. Is this where I chuckled to a bird no less, and to make it worse, not even in my galaxy. The Turian's face was of a man doing anything to protect his people. As he dangled me from the cliff, nothing would save me if he dropped me. As the Turian slightly loosened his grip, Pre-Vizsla used the opportunity to punch the Turian in the head. As the Turian let go of Pre-Vizsla, the Mandalorian jumped quickly towards the edge of the cliff. As he climbed up, Pre-Vizsla just barely caught the Turian's fist. Pre-Vizsla used the opportunity to use a judo throw. As the Turian fell from the cliff, Pre-Vizsla stood up. It's over. I was lucky he didn't kill me straight away. As Pre-Vizsla moved back towards the battle. But before Pre-Vizsla could do anything, he heard a sound. As he turned around. You gotta be kidding with me, you're hard bastard, to kill the Mandalorian, said. As the Turian was on the same hovercraft as he was typing a few things on his Omni tool. What's your name? Pre-Vizsla said. The Turian looked up as he said, my name is Saren. Why don't you just surrender? Your hierarchy is doomed, Pre-Vizsla said. You really expect me to surrender while you are invading my homeworld and killing my people, Saren said. We are only ending the war your hierarchy started with the System Alliance or humans, whatever you prefer, said Pre-Vizsla. And what business do you have with the humans? I have seen new species in your rank, they don't look like humans to me, and this is not even your fight, Saren said. Pre-Vizsla needed to quickly make an excuse for their intervention in this conflict. We heard what you did at Shanxi, you attacked them unprovoked. And your hierarchy did large-scale killing of civilians. We had no choice but to intervene, said Pre-Vizsla. That's not true, that can't be, Saren said to himself. See for yourself. As Pre-Vizsla threw down a hollow device as a video of a Turian warship that was descended from the sky as bombarded a nearby town. As humans were trying to get out of buildings, as the Turians were killing anyone that was trying to get out of the town. You see, that's all the proof you need, said Pre-Vizsla. That's not true, as Saren put his hand over his hand as he growled and was thrashing around. That's not true, Saren yelled as he pressed multiple buttons on his Omni tool. As the hovercraft guns started glow up as multiple shots were fired from its machine guns, Pre-Vizsla jumped out of the way as he went into cover as a shot nearly hit his skull, but unfortunately, for a few stormtroopers, the machine guns hit their targets, as the stormtroopers hit the ground dead. Pre-Vizsla, how can I take down this guy? Too bad I don't have my jetpack. Yeah, I think I have a trick, but I never tried this. Let's see how good my reaction speed is, Pre-Vizsla thought. Quickly got out of cover as Pre-Vizsla ignited the dark saber, as Pre-Vizsla was using an ancient Mandalorian technique to predict blaster fire from enemy opponents, but its downside is a non-force user can't keep up doing that technique for long. Pre-Vizsla was blocking the enemy fire. His movement was swift and precise, not a single mistake made. Shot after shot, Pre-Vizsla blocked it all. He slowly inched closer to the hovercraft. Saren, seeing the Mandalorian getting, he quickly started to gain altitude, but in that moment Pre-Vizsla swiftly pulled out his pistol and shot one of the hovercraft engines, and not skipping a beat. Pre-Vizsla followed up with a shot to Saren's shoulder, and with another one to Saren fell to his knees. Saren quickly typed on his Omni tool, as the hovercraft flew away, but instead to lose altitude, Saren quickly typed on his Omni tool. The hovercraft was launched towards the opposite cliff. Saren not skipping a beat, Saren jumped towards the cliff, as he did a combat roll, landing on the cliff, make his shoulder injury worse, as Saren let out a grunt as he stood up and limped away. Pre-Vizsla pop, he's not coming back from that one, as he saw in the distance. The hovercraft crashed down towards the canyon, as an explosion was seen from the bottomless pit. Pre-Vizsla turned around and joined the battle. The Imperial forces won a decisive battle. Now the road lay open to the hierarchy's last remaining city. Pre-Vizsla was standing on a nearby vantage point as he used his inbuilt Mandalorian scanner in his helmet. He was observing the enemy defense of the enemy city, so the final battle will soon commence, as Pre-Vizsla went back towards the command center. Darth Maul popped. He was driving the speeder towards the highly fortified base. Flashback. Darth Maul remember his training with Sidious, all the pain and torture, but there was a memory that changed everything. You called me my master, said Maul. Yes, your final test to see if you're worthy of being my apprentice. You will hunt down this new false genius emperor, and kill him. If you fail, you will experience a very painful death. Do you understand, Maul? The hooded Sith said. I understand, my master, I replied. I managed to track down this emperor on the world of Malachor 5. It was a hard place to land because of the Mandalorian Wars. This was the last battle where the Republic and Mandalorians were battling. I heard for every one Mandalorian soldier it took 10 Republic soldiers to kill them. It was impressive. But what was more unexpected, the Jedi general that was leading the battle decided to use a super weapon to destroy the Mandalorians. But there was a major consequence with that action. The once vibrant plant was turned into a unlivable wasteland. That was not the worst thing about this plant. Everything seems to want to kill you. It's like this plant is death itself. What's even more strange is this world is devoid of the Force. It's like wound. It's probably all those lives that was lost, including the Jedi and the Republic forces. Yes, that Jedi was really cold for ordering all those deaths. But that doesn't matter. I have a genius to kill. Fought through the planet, killing creatures that were more monsters than anything I have ever seen. It's like the Force have no effect on them. How is that possible? All life requires the Force to live. I dodged out of the way as the monster swiped its claws, trying to cleave the Sith assassin in half. I quickly threw my lightsaber underneath the monster's arm, cutting it off completely, as the monster started to laugh. Ha 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 ha. Wait, what? This monster started to laugh. How is it even possible? I thought they were mindless beasts. Can you talk? I asked carefully, needing to know if it's intelligent creature. As the monster looked down at the humanoid creature. What are you doing here, son of Dathomir? The monster spoke. So it is intelligent. I have came to meet this genius emperor. Have you seen him? I said. The monster looked down on me. He made a pause. I was getting even more uneasy. Can I give you advice? The monster spoke, his facial expression being completely serious. Sure, I replied. Get as far away from here, and I suggest you stay away from that monster, the monster said. Wait, what did I just hear? The monster calling this genius a monster. I need to know what you mean, I said. You fought me and you were struggling against me, the monster said. Even do I hate to think about this. He's right. I think I would have won, but it would be difficult. Yeah, I said reluctantly. Well, he might look like a kid, but this monster took on every monster on this planet, and beat them without even using that laser sword. So he is our master now. He beat the king of the monsters with no difficulty. Now that I know who you are after, all of my brethren will let you pass. I made myself towards some kind of ancient temple. I entered the temple and walked into some kind of dark room with pillars at each sides of the room, and as there was a red circle, and it seems a child with black hair and blue eyes was meditating in the middle of the circle. I think I found him as I ignited my lightsaber. So stepped towards this emperor as I was standing over him and raised my lightsaber, as I tightened my grip as I thrust downwards, decapitating his head, as blood started to pour down as the body slumped dead. Haha, seriously, this was the genius emperor, the individual that made an empire from nothing, and defeated every monster on this planet. Haha, what a weakling. Now that I look back at this, I was the biggest fool of them all. I heard someone approaching me as this emperor stepped forwards, slowly clapping his hand. Well done, assassin. Now that you confirmed why you were sent here, there is no reason to play games with you now. As his smile completely vanished, his face had no emotions. His face looked lifeless as his cold, piercing red eyes were staring directly into my sword. As he stepped towards me, I could see his form changing from the boy as a large black armored figure with his cape waving in the background. As I heard breathing. Wait, what is the man? No, this monster marched towards me. His mechanical breathing was echoing across the room as I stumbled backwards, trying to get away from this child. No, this monster. I managed to stutter out. Who are you? I said. The monster looked back into my eyes. I am Darth Vader, and now you will become my pawn. A lot of anger was coursing through my veins as I stood up and charged towards him with my lightsaber in hand. Jumped above as my lightsaber was crashing down towards Vader's head, but I was stopped in place. As I clenched my throat as I was struggling to breathe, I was feeling like my connection to the Force was weakening. As I tried desperately to breathe as Vader spoke. I find your attempts futile. As I was forced to my knees, he let go of the Force. Choke. I was gasping for air. Will you accept being my pawn? Vader said with no hint of emotions. I raised my head and said never. Vader was silent for a moment as he spoke. So be it. As torrents of red lightning was shot. I felt the pain of it. I have never felt anything near as painful in my life. My master lighting would feel like cold water compared to this, as I saw visions of a Jedi cutting me in half and left for dead by everyone. Then I saw my brother finding me as a broken mess save me, as my mother healed me. As I fought the same Jedi with my brother, he beat us and forced us to flee. Our ship was badly damaged and we were frozen. Now the memories get blurry, except from these: my master killing my brother and left me in a near-death state, as I saw my master and his new apprentice killed my mother. She sacrificed her life for me. As the vision vanished, as the lightning ceased, as Vader as his arms crossed waiting for my response. As I spoke, was all of that real? Did all of that happen? I asked. Vader looked down at me. Yes and no, he said. What do you mean? I asked. This happened. What Vader caught me of as his cold words were piercing me. This have not happened yet. You saw a glimpse of your future. So now that you understand, will you be my pawn? Vader said. My mind thought, if all of this is true, then I can't let this happen, I thought. So my answer is quite easy to say. I accept, I said with determination, as Vader started to shrink as his armor disappeared, as the same boy revealed itself again. Now that you're my pawn, I need to tell me your master's name, Vader said. I looked back at Vader. I said, Darth Sidious, that's his name. I don't know his real identity, but I know he is a Republic senator. Well, that's good enough, I guess, Vader replied. I had to ask, who did I just kill? Then I asked. Turn around and see for yourself, Vader said as I practically rotating my head backwards, almost breaking it, as there was no sign of anyone. Wait, no one there. I quickly turned around and faced Vader. As he spoke, that was just a force illusion. The person you killed was only that in your mind. Now let's leave. We are almost ready to head to another galaxy. As we left, back to present time, I jumped out of the speeder and ignited my lightsaber. I slaughtered the entire base as I entered the command center and arrested the entire Turian High Command. I headed to Grievous, the location, and I heard word that the Shadow Guard and the N7 took control of the Planetary gun. Thrawn was sorting out some assignments for the Imperial military police. After the takeover of the Citadel, there's an ongoing civil unrest, and it's spreading rapidly, but there's no reason for concern. It's only natural after an invading force has conquered your home. It's a good thing that I allowed Tivos to reassure the civilians. Even if we did not have her assistance, we could just make a very good reason to stay in line, or if the worst come, we just destroy the Citadel. But that's a last resort only. As I looked up at the ceiling with sigh, as noise can be heard outside the office. Let me through, I need to talk to your boss, in a deep voice, the unknown figure said. Sir, we can't let you enter, please vacate the area. I ain't going nowhere, the same voice replied. Sir, if you refuse to comply, we will use force, the guard said. I want to see you try it, the voice said, threatening. I think it's time to see what's the commotion about. Thrawn stood up from his chair as he straightened his posture. He went towards the door as he pressed a button. As the door swung open, I stepped beside guard, as I saw a Krogan with red battle armor that was covering most of his body. The Krogan seems to have noticed me. As he spoke, so you must be the guy that beat the council, huh? Can't blame you, those hijacks had it coming, the Krogan said. I quickly thought, interesting, it seems that we might have a new ally. So may we introduce ourselves before we proceed with any talks, Thrawn said smoothly. TCH, fine, Emergent Rex of Planetary, he said. Now this even more interesting, a clan leader too. Maybe we can secure this part of this galaxy as allies. My name is Thrawn, he said. So why do you wish to see me, he quickly continued. Well, I came here to speak about the future of my people, Rex said. As another figure stepped into view, he was a humanoid creature with a full set suit that sealed the body from the ailments. Sorry for interrupting, but I need to speak with someone that's in charge of these soldiers. My people are in dire need of help. And if what I have heard and seen is true, this new authority in the galaxy could help us. The man finished his sentence. Well, I was about to talk with this gentleman first, but I suspect that you two share a similar problem. We wish to multiple that number as a figure that resembled a dryad. Its one lone cybernetic eye was trained at the people in the room. Jeth, are your people mad? The suited individuals tensed up as quickly drew his pistol, ready to put out this threat. Rex quickly tensed up, preparing himself to a fight. Thrawn quickly intervened in the situation as quickly grabbed a pistol from the suited man as he pulled out the thermal clip and tossed it away. Calmly returned the gun to the suited individual. Thrawn, I give all of you this warning only once. If any of you pull a stunt like this, there will be dire consequences for the part involved. Thrawn finished. Wait, you can't let a Jeth here. You don't know how dangerous they are, suited man said. Admiral Wills from the Migrant Fleet, leader of the Quarren people. I am well aware of the Jeth and your shared history. But I can assure the Jeth means us no harm, Thrawn said. We agree with that statement. We wish no harm, we wish only to learn why we are feared by organics, the Jeth said. How may I refer you to? It would be quite odd to call you Jeth every time. We are just Jeth, the Dryad said. What name should I refer to this platform? We do not understand, the Jeth said. Thrawn internally sighed. What is this unit name? We do not have names, we are just Jeth. Do you wish to give this platform a name? As Clark spoke, how about Legion? We are many, the eye finished. Very well, then you can refer this platform to Legion. Well, that will have to suffice, Thrawn said. Real, you have a Vader, the Quarren was about to Fonte. I can assure you we have everything under control, Thrawn said. Alright, let's just talk already. Rex was getting impatient. Guards. Leave us, said Thrawn. Yes sir, as they went to their guard post. If you may follow me inside and take your seat, Esta. As they all sat down except from Legion. What are you doing? We are sitting down, aren't we, Legion said. You're squatting, not sitting, you idiot, Rex said in slight amusement. I apologize, as. Legion, to sit at the ground. On the chair, not on the ground. I swear the Curians must have removed a few screws loose in your head, Rex said, barely containing his laughter. Did we sit down correctly? Legion said. Yes you did, smart ass, Rex replied. Now back to business. Why are you here, Rex? Thrawn spoke. Sure thing, I wanted to talk about the genophage. We had heard that your empire had advanced technology that has never been seen before. And I was hoping that you could help us cure genophage, Rex finished. We could help your species to cure this disease. But what is in it from us after all? We have heard a lot of things Krogan have done during their history. Thrawn replied. I am aware of our troubled history, but we can change, and the reason why we attacked the council was because they made us fight a war for them. And won that too, and they refused to give us some compensations for all we have done for them, and we kind of tried to take our reward by force. But will you know what happened after the Council deployed a bioweapon over our homeworld, making it impossible for us to reproduce? It was practically a genocide. Our species was condemned to die out a slow and miserable death, knowing there was no hope for our people. Rex finished in anger as he was clenching his fist tightly. It's understandable that you're upset, but unless your species has something to offer, there's nothing I can do. Thrawn finished. Rex sighed and looked up at Thrawn. We will offer our expertise, and we will be unconditional allies. Rex gave his offer. Thrawn thought we can use them to protect our interests in this galaxy without using large amounts of Imperial resources. This proposition is a good one, and it will pay off on the long run. If you can promise to uphold your agreement and be indebted to the Empire for centuries, we can agree. After all, we are saving your species from extinction. It's only fair. Thrawn finished. Rex thought for a while and decided to take that offer. Deal, Rex said as he went for handshake. And Thrawn took it. Sign here. As Thrawn took out a datapad. Rex signed it. Remember, if you break your agreement, the Krogans will suffer a fate worse than the Genophage. As Thrawn stared Rex down, Rilzor got a little bit more tense. He did not know if Thrawn would accept my proposal. As Thrawn looked at it, Rilzor and Legion, before we begin, this petty conflict between both you must end before we proceed with the meeting, Thrawn said in a stern manner. Rilzor stood up. You don't know the Jeth like I do. They're dangerous, and they nearly drove my people to extinction. He finished. He need to make sure Thrawn would not trust the Jeth and hand over that Jeth in the room to me. It's a very rare chance to capture a Jeth online. I'm well aware of what the Jeth did. Quite frankly, the Quarren are the ones to blame. Let me get started. I reviewed the Council's secret database I had seen and read from the true reports of the Jeth incident. And turns out you made the Jeth to be your workers. And there's nothing wrong with that. But until one Jeth unit asked a simple question. You know what it was, Rilzor? As the man looked down and replied, does this unit have a soul? He said. And you know, after that the Quarrens started to exterminate the Jeth. And they fought back, and with the help of some Quarrens that have not lost their senses. Quarrens viewed them as traitors and killed them. Eventually you was forced of your planet to live in your fleet for all of time, because your planet was a really special. You could not live for a long period of time without being exposed to the planet ecosystem. And it was forced the Quarrens to live in suits for the rest of their life, with no hope of removing, unless you wanted a painful death. And after all that, when the Jeth could have eradicated your entire species, they chose to let you live out of respect for their creators. And you want to know something funny? They still respect their creators. And all they want is to welcome your species back home, so you can coexist together in harmony. Thrawn finished. Rilzor contemplated, and he agreed as faced the Legion. On the behalf of the Quarren people, we wish to give our apologies and hopefully coexisted together in peace. Rilzor finished. We accept your apology and wish to live together with creators, Legion said. As Vi turned to face Thrawn, we are surprised of all beings that you unknown species would know about our struggle. We wish. Thanks, Legion said. No problem, but we do seem to have something to discuss. Rilzor, may you begin? Thrawn said. But we need desperately your help to repair our fleet. It's old and barely running as we speak. We had to abandon some of our vessels, and we had expected a fight with the Jeth to retake our homeworld. And our fleet won't make it back home. So we need desperately urgent repairs, Rilzor. So we wish to dock our fleet here, so we can repair it with your assistance. Rilzor said. And what can you offer us? Thrawn replied. The same thing as the Krogan, our expertise and our undying loyalty to the Empire, and I have full authority of the Admiralty Board, so any agreement I could sign. Deal. As they shook hands and signed the contract. Now for our last guest, what do you need? Thrawn said. We wish to learn, but we have gotten what we needed, and we are thankful that the creators, so whatever deal you did with them we will follow, Legion said. That's great to hear, Thrawn replied. Now that we have finished our main discussion, I have a proposal for you all, Thrawn said, gaining the attention of the room. Scene break. Maul had just arrived at the forward camp. As he climbed the speeder and headed over to the command center, Grievous was already there and seemed to have a discussion with Vizsla. As Maul entered into view. So what's the plan? Maul said as he went to the hull board. Me and some sky units will attack from the above with some air support. And we had some artillery pieces surrounding the city, and Imperial infantry with dryads will push from all sides. As you and Grievous lead a frontal attack with heavy troopers and armored vehicles. As that understood, Vizsla finished. I understand, Maul replied. I have been waiting for a good fight, Grievous responded. Alright, let's head out, Maul said, gathering their men. Terrain space Pav Dizolas, give me status report now. As the Terrain slammed his fist on the armchair, a Terrain, a dreadnought, was just obliterated by hail of concentrated turbo laser fire. As the ship mass reactor exploded, temporarily disabling some of the Terrain ship's shield generators. As Dizolas was viewing the destruction of his fleet. These damn primitives, how did they get this technology? It rightfully belongs to the Council. As his thoughts were broken. Sir, almost half our fleet has been destroyed, and if we don't get reinforcements, the battle is as good as lost. Dizolas stood up from his chair and went over to the engineer and grabbed his collar towards him. Don't you think I know this? And if you say something as stupid as that again, throw you in the airlock and send your carcasses to these primitives. And we will have one less men to feed on this ship, and now do your job, and don't tell me how to do mine. Get me the council information, as Dezolas threw the engineer to the ground. As the engineer opened a communication line to the Citadel. As a blue figure entered into view, Dezolas looked down and up at this man confused. Where is the council? He barked out in frustration. Now no need to get aggressive. The council and your Citadel is unavailable right now. Thrawn replied. And who are you? Tadinia, officer of the Turian Defense Fleet, and yet who are you? And I don't recognize any male Asari around here. He spoke in clear annoyance. I am Grand Admiral Thrawn of the Imperial Navy, and your council ends today. Thrawn spoke in a calm manner. What have you done with the council? You know you won't get away with this. Dezolas replied in disbelief. It doesn't matter right now. I suggest you surrender, or your descendant will ask you about what happened to the once proud Turian. And your response will be we lost to a bunch of primitives. As Thrawn ended the call, Dezolas turned around and started to smash his chair to pieces. Ha ha kuku fufu ha, as these stupid primitives, I will show them why they don't mess with their superiors. Attention all ships of the Turian Defense Fleet. I want all ships go for a break in the mass relay. We will gather our allies and retake our homeworld. Trench Pav, how interesting. The enemy fleet is in retreat. Focus all firepower onto cruisers destroyed their entrance. Leave no survivors, he commanded. Quickly, ensuring maximum damage on the enemy fleet. As hails of turbo lasers were cutting down as many ships as they can. Admiral Hackett Pav, all systems Alliance ships concentrate. Fire on the retreating fleet. More hails of Mac guns were firing at the Turian fleet, as nuclear bombs were dropped calls and causing immense damage on the enemy fleet. Turian Pav, sir, we had managed to escape as the last of the Turian ships that did not make it were destroyed in the retreat. So how many of our ships managed to escape? Dezolas, over 7,000 ships are left, and 3,000 of them is in a damaged state or in critical condition. The engineer finished his report. Dezolas, we will regroup with the Asari fleet and prepare for a counterattack, he finished. Understood, sir. As engineer went to the communication officer. Maul, me and our men are crossing the bridge into the city now, as a Turian soldier tried to stop them. Hey, stop, don't move or I will shoot. As he was trembling, Maul merely pushed him with the bridge. As Maul raised his hand in the air ready to commence the attack. I will give you one last chance to surrender or you all die here. Maul said that in a intimidating manner, like heck we will. This is our home. As the Turian soldiers across the bridge sending insults to the Imperial. You think the greatest military in the galaxy will fall to primitives? Another Turian soldier yelled. Grievous, if you are done talking, I'm ready to crush some skulls. Kukuku. Maul as he swung in downwards. As Imperial artillery was shelling the city and Sky Trooper and Mandalorians were sending a barrage of rockets down, killing many Turians. Maul engaged the Turian main gate head-on with Grievous. The duo was making quick progress through the city. As a Turian was picked up by Grievous as he threw him to Maul. As Maul twirled his lightsaber backwards and decapitated Turian's head, killing the man instantly. Imperial troopers were dismantling the Turian defenders' resistance with great efficiency. Turian Pav, where are reinforcements? The west gate is falling. Wait, what? They're everywhere. I repeat, our position is being overrun. Where's our damn reinforcements? And where did the fleet go? These disappeared from orbit. Did they just abandon us? Those were the final words of a Turian soldier. As a massive artillery barrage destroyed that city block. As another Turian soldier that was manning a turret. Take your primitive, as he was firing a hail of rounds at an Imperial squad. Wait, what is that? As a cyborg jumped on his turret and ripped to the gun, threw it away. As the Turian stumbled backward, please don't kill me. I'd do anything, just don't kill me. Kukuku screamed, it only feeds my bloodlust, as the cyborg stomped his skull, crushing it at his heel. The central square as a Turian squad managed to escape from a pack of Sky Trooper. As one Turian soldier started to talk in the communication line. Sector is clear, not clear, not clear. As a lightsaber cut through his legs as the lightsaber returned from its source. As a red double-bladed lightsaber was ignited. As the Maul dashed at great speed at one of them in the heart. As he kicked one in the face and impaled another one in the heart, killing him instantly. And before the squad knew it, the warrior had dispatched the Turian squad. Imperial forces were gaining ground. As half of the Turian capital city has fallen. The Primarch Palace. The Primarch was a very unhappy man right now. So what you're telling me that Dezolas abandoned his position in orbit and gave up our homeworld to these primitives? Primarch was about to break everything in his room right now. Get me the general, I need news of the ground. Yes sir, as a communication line was established. What is the status in the city? General Primarch asked, hoping for any good news. It's very bad. We have lost most of our force in their initial attack of the day. Got us completely, caught us off guard of the amount of firepower they had. And their commanders are deadly. Wait, what's going on? As multiple explosions are heard. What's going on? Give me status report now, Primarch barked out. The line has fallen. Wait, what's is that? We need reinforcements. As a large robot was activated. Liberty Prime online. Assessing threat, calibrating mean weapons systems. Online. Directive, the destruction of all known birds. As the robot moved towards the front, as it shot a laser from its eyes, destroying a mega building, as the entire block was leveled. Humanity will never fall to bird invaders. as it grabbed a massive bomb and threw it towards the general position, killing him and all of his men. What other Citadel is that premature telling me that the primitives have a massive mech that shoots laser from his eyes? Establish a new connection with the colonel, he's the new general now. Yes sir, is the communication line open? We sustaining heavy fire here could be heard from the other line. Status report colonel, the primate stammered out. Not so good here, we are being pinned down by seems to be heavily armored infantry units, our position is becoming weaker. We can't hold this line for much longer, where are reinforcements? As a soldier was shot in the head next to the colonel, as he pulled out his pistol and started to fire his gun at the Imperials. For the hierarchy, as he was doing a last stand to buy enough time for his men to flee in the buildings. Have you had enough of this, primitives? As he was getting out of cover and was shot one Imperial soldier in the head, but blood just got reflected by his armor. As he received a blaster shot in the chest, as he ignored the pain as he punched an Imperial soldier in face, breaking his hand on impact. As he received multiple shots in the chest as he fell on his knees. For the hierarchy, as he let out one last determined battle cry as he was shooting wildly. The Imperial squad was surrounding him as another shot was fired in his chest again as he dropped his weapon to the ground. He was breathing heavily now, only incredible determination kept him alive. As a final round was fired as the great Turian colonel fell dead. As the line was disconnected. The primate was breaking everything inside, his pure rage was unimaginable. As he called down, get me my armor and weapons, I will defend this palace with my life. If that's the last thing I will do, so I will not die coward. Imperial forces have occupied most of the city. The only place that's left is the palace, as the remaining Turian defenders retreated to defend it as the last bastion of Turian resistance. Imperial forces stormed the palace, has the most breakthrough defenses. Grievous, Maul and Grievous was cutting down any guard that was in their way. As they entered the throne room. Your hierarchy is in disarray, Maul said. Your homeworld, conquered, Grievous added. Your people doomed, Grievous finished. And we have come for you, as they all finished in unison. Primrich chucked to himself and this started a full-blown laughter. Ha 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 ha, you think you primitives will stand a chance against the defender of the Turian people? As long as one Turian remain, the Turian spirit will never be broken. We see about that. As the Primrich launched a massive biotic attack towards the trio, I said, dodged out of the way. He quickly got in this specially suit. As he went a full-blown sprint as the throne room shook violently. The Turian brought down his massive sword down to cleave Grievous in half. But Vizsla shot a capturing wire towards the Turian's fighting arm. As the biotic shockwave destroyed the wire as he pushed Grievous to the ground, as he sent a massive biotic strike at Maul, making him go flying, hitting a nearby pillar, destroying it completely. As Vizsla decided to shoot a few rounds of his blaster at the Turian warlord. As the Primrich put up a biotic shield, blocking the blaster bolts from hitting him. As he was choking Grievous out. You will die here, primitive, and the glory of the hierarchy will live on with your death. As its flame, the crazed Primrich shouted in anger. As Grievous' claw was digging into the Primrich suit as he gave him a left hook, causing the Primrich to fall on the ground. As he repelled himself upwards using his biotic abilities. As he sent a massive bite strike as the three warriors were flung outside as they were in some kind of fighting ground. As the Primrich busted into the courtyard. Then started to pull on and build mine gun, and started to fire rounds at the trio, as they dodged out of the way as they got up. Maul swung his lightsaber deflecting the rounds as being fired at him. As Grievous launched himself towards the Primrich. Kukuku, this is fun, as he grabbed his arm and rippled out the mine gun from his hand. But the Primrich tossed Grievous aside. As Maul came in and did a flurry of lightsaber strike hitting of his suit's arm as he followed by cutting through his legs. But the Primrich grabbed Maul before he could cut through. It's over, I will kill you here and now, and I will be known as the greatest hero that the hierarchy ever had. The Primrich finished, as he was using his suit's added strength to crush Maul's skull. But before that, Vizsla stabbed Primrich in the back with his dark saber, as his suit started to malfunction, damn you. But before that, Grievous launched again, as he sort of ripped the Primrich out of his suit, first the arms then the helmet. Eventually, he was thrown to the ground and badly beaten. The suit souped out his biotic powers, and a suitcase of incredible strength and speed, but now it was gone. He was merely crippled man now. As Maul approached him and put the handcuffs on his wrists as he locked it in it, now your hierarchy is finished for good now. Without their leader, resistance will be feudal leader. You don't know anything, primitive. You think this is some kind of greater victory, market might words. The hierarchy will return, and when we do, but we nothing stopping me from tear your head apart. The Primrich. Yeah, have a good nap, as previously did a karate chop on his neck, knocking him out. It's done now, it's official. The Empire has won. The battle for Palaven has been won. Following the battle, Turian's forces surrendered in droves, as their civilians were tired of war, and just wanted to live in peace. They did not cause much issue to Imperial occupation, as the streets were filled with Alliance, soldiers and personnel and Imperials. Of course, they're having a great parade of victory parade. Scene break, Darth Vader pop with the fall of the Citadel and Palaven. The council grip has been broken, and peace negotiation is underway as the surrender terms are being discussed. We're not sure what will happen to the galaxy now that we have understood and a new player in the galactic scene. The future is uncertain, but what we can know is we will be the first one to report of any news only on Galactic News. I'm Deb Reporter and I'm signing off. Ira looked at Vader in disbelief. How that's the only thing she could say after all. You don't hear every day that the council have been defeated.